Yeah, we've got a Platform 45 script that is a simple shell script that allows you to set up a new dev environment on OS X. There's plenty of other scripts out there. We like this one because it's extremely simple and just gets the basics up and running in the smallest amount of time. To use it, simply copy this line and paste that into your terminal, and it should get going and install everything that you need. Kevin's sitting with me. He's going to sort of run us through a couple of the tools that are installed. ZSH Shell. Why are we using that?
Okay, so ZShell is a replacement terminal for Bash, which is installed by default. We specifically use OhmyZShell, which gives you a really nice setup shell right from the get-go. If we go across to a shell, we can see it adds a couple of plugins and things for things like Git, and that gives you functions like you can hook into current branch names. And for example, I've got a whole lot of functions that I write around that to just manage my Git flow a lot more easily.
Cool. Next, we're getting Xcode command line tools.
Yeah, the Xcode command line tools installs the GCC compiler so that you'll be able to install things like Ruby and native extensions for Ruby apps, gems that require C extensions, things like libxml, etc.
Brew?
Homebrew is a package manager for OS X. So it's similar to apt-get on Ubuntu Linux. What's really nice about it is that you can just pretty much one line install any system app that you need, from Git to RubyEnv to some of the other tools that we're going to be using later as well. And it also manages upgrading those versions. Homebrew Cask then is an extension to Homebrew that installs desktop apps. So the example in that screenshot is Google Chrome, but you could install things like text editors, browsers. There's a variety of apps in there. There's about 1,600 formulas that you can choose from in there at the moment. Heroku Toolbelt then is used to easily manage Heroku instances from your command line. So you can create new Heroku instances, you can manage your configuration of them, scale them up, scale them down, check your logs, open up instances and things like that from the command line. RubyEnv is then used to control which version of Ruby you're executing on. So some projects are running, say, Ruby 1.9 still, and we've got other projects that require Ruby 2.1. RubyEnv makes it easy to install different versions of Ruby and switch between them in context.
Okay, and I see we're installing Sublime Text Editor. A lot of the guys use Vim, but I think Sublime is just the easiest get-go editor.
Yeah, I think if you want to just get something going, you can install Sublime Text. What's also nice if you install it through Cask is that it sets up your command line alias, so you can just use subl to open Sublime from the command line.
Cool, and finally we got Bundler.
So Bundler is a Ruby gem that's installed that is used to manage the dependencies of Ruby projects. So, for example, Rails includes a gem file by default, and you declare which gems your project is dependent on through that. Bundler then will do the installation and dependency resolution when you run your app. So if you've got multiple versions of the same gem installed, it'll make sure that the right version is used.
Cool. Okay, great, Cam. Thanks. So I think this script, you can find it at Platform 45's GitHub. It's called Let There Be Light. Very simple script to get a dev environment up and running and ready to go.
Cool.
Thanks, Kev.